In a hidden dungeon she had missed, a legend claimed it would appear after the Demon Lord's defeat, a place with no roaming monsters and treasures beyond imagination. In the capital of Altria, everyone was celebrating, saying the Demon Lord had finally fallen. The hero's party that defeated him had returned, and everyone looked toward them. But when they did, they realized Lady Nirvana was missing. She was known as the First Saint, and people whispered, wondering where she could possibly be. Outside the castle walls, someone quietly placed a bag on the ground. It was Lady Nirvana, the First Saint, a level 99 martial artist. She was part of the hero's party that had vanquished the Demon Lord. Her fists had reached sacred mastery, giving her the revered title of First Saint. Each strike meant instant death, a single warrior worth 1,000. Her blows cracked the earth and split the skies, a demonic fist capable of shattering giants. No monster could escape her thunderous, godlike speed. Legends said her hands were forever stained with monster blood. Avenging her father, killed by a monster 10 years ago, she had sworn to destroy the root of all evil, the Demon Lord himself. That sorrowful fist had been sharpened through 10 long years of brutal training. Lightly equipped, she faced monsters head-on, constantly avoiding status ailments and fatal wounds, brushing against death countless times. Her devotion to her father, her ruthless fighting style, and her endless near-death struggles forged her into the warrior known as the First Saint. And on this very day, she completed that decade-long mission. She smiled softly, cheeks warm, saying she was going home, back to her homeland, the fishing port town of Amizu at the eastern edge. A quiet town with boats, houses, and a church on a hill, resting far beyond the royal capital. 10 years had passed, yet unlike her, this place hadn't changed at all. She wondered if her mother would be angry, promising herself she would live here forever and be the best daughter she could be. But the next moment, the bag slipped from her hands. Her old home had crumbled completely, not even a single brick remaining. She couldn't understand what had happened. Her house, gone. Beside it were 2 graves. Her mother had passed away too, now resting with her father for eternity. Seeing this, she broke down, whispering apologies, asking what her 10 years had even been for. As she wandered the town in despair, she walked past a carriage, thinking this must be punishment for abandoning her home. Someone stepped down and stared at her in shock. "Wait, is that really you?" he said. It was our main character, completely stunned at the sight of her. He said he knew it was her. Tears welled in her eyes as memories of her past flooded back. He was the boy she played with, shared meals with, and everyone used to call them the perfect couple. When she left, she had said, "Wait for me," calling him by name. In the present, she whispered, "Utah." The scene then shifted to nighttime. Now they were at Utah's house on the outskirts of town. Nirvana was stunned, asking if this was really his home. Utah confirmed it, saying 10 years had passed since she left. Nirvana said he hadn't changed at all, but he replied that he had grown, maybe not in ways she could see. She thought he was still the same boy she cherished, and that alone made her happy. A soft blush warmed her face. He had cooked a lot of food, and she praised him, saying he was incredible. His level showed 24, fisherman with household skills at S class. He told her he had been living alone for a long time, so she should eat as much as she wanted. She thought the food was unbelievably good. Thrilled by her reaction, he encouraged her to keep eating. After finishing her plate, she said that her mother had passed away 3 years ago. The flowers she saw earlier at the grave looked well cared for. Utah then asked her what she planned to do next. She answered that she had never thought about anything except living peacefully with her family. He paused for a moment, then said he didn't know what she had been doing during these 10 years, but he always knew she would return. She didn't understand what he meant, and then he said it. "So, Lady Nirvana, marry me." Hearing these words, she froze, completely stunned and blushing furiously. She wondered how a level 99 martial artist like herself had suddenly ended up in a marriage proposal. Her face burned as she realized that while she had spent 10 years punching monsters into oblivion, she had gained 0 experience points in love. Utah continued, saying that on the day he couldn't save her father, he also couldn't heal her wounded heart, calling her his beloved. He asked her to let him protect her from now on, to let him guard her entire life. His words struck her like a critical hit, making her blush so intensely she nearly trembled. She realized someone had been waiting for her all this time, someone who cared for her that deeply. She remembered her mother's words, "You two make such a perfect couple. You'll be wonderful together as husband and wife." "I'm so relieved." Blushing heavily, she thought that her mother had wished for this too. Covering her face, she said that even though she was clumsy and unworthy, she accepted happily. Utah was overjoyed, but she was even happier, eyes shining with tears. She whispered, "Yes, darling." Nirvana changed her profession from martial artist level 99 to wife level 1. Their marriage ceremony was beautiful, and a small happiness bloomed in this small town. They bought a new home, rebuilding her old ruined estate. With Utah's skilled craftsmanship, the former Nirvana residence was reborn. He told her he thought living here would put her parents' spirits at ease. Tearful and blushing, she whispered to her father and mother that she hoped she was going to be happy. Their life continued peacefully, but soon it was time for their after-marriage practices. Both of them had zero nighttime experience, and their hearts were pounding uncontrollably. A level 99 martial artist, yet still a virgin, shared her first night with a level 24 fisherman. Yuta shyly asked how many children she wanted. Hiding her face, she said she would give birth to as many of Yuta's babies as he wished. The entire house shook, and it continued for quite a while. 2 hours later, the level 99 martial artist's hips finally gave out. She cried out that she was dying, unable to understand what this overwhelming sensation was. Nirvana completely lost control of her hips. She thought she had never known a world like this existed. This was because Yuta possessed night techniques backed by S-class stamina, attentiveness, and hardness. His size was S-class as well. His night stats had been S-class all along. She begged Yuta for more, promising again to give birth to countless children. As the church bell rang, the shaking intensified, and they nearly toppled over. She assumed it was Yuta's movement again, but something felt different. Outside the house, a demonic gate had erupted from beneath the ground. Yuta said he thought it was a gate, and an enormous one at that. She was stunned, thinking there was no way such a thing could appear. A blinding light echoed through the air, asking if they could hear it. It declared itself a goddess. She said the hero had slain the demon lord and brought peace to the land. But this victory also broke the seal, releasing the hidden dungeon. Nirvana thought to herself that even the demon lord had feared that lair of monsters. Now the hidden dungeon had been unleashed. The goddess continued, telling the children of the earth to retrieve the ring of the goddess from the dungeon's deepest depths. Only then could it be sealed again. She said she had faith in their strength. As the gate closed, harsh noises rumbled out, and dragon-like beasts emerged. Monsters had poured out from the hidden dungeon. Nirvana panicked at the sight, shouting that monsters were appearing. The monster spoke proudly. After 1,000 years, it declared it could finally taste fresh blood. Drooling at its freedom, it said the Demon King's prison had fallen, and this land now belonged to them. They were level 57 dragons, a level 52 white serpent, and a level 48 viper. Nirvana thought these monsters were powerful, but none could lay a hand on her. She decided she would deal with them. Just as she was about to act, Yuta shouted her name as a massive rock hurled toward her. Yuta shoved her aside, taking the blow himself. Blood splattered as he collapsed unconscious in her arms. Realizing he had taken the hit for her, Nirvana's anger ignited. A dark dragon advanced toward the town, followed by the other creatures. She tightened her ponytail and picked up a small pebble. She ordered them to return to the dungeon, calling them scum. The dragon couldn't believe a human dared speak that way. She warned it again, saying she would spare it if it turned back. The dragon snarled, calling her insolent and claiming she was nothing more than its next meal. With a single pebble, she obliterated the dragon entirely. The dark dragon exploded into pieces. Terrified by the display, the remaining creatures froze in fear. Nirvana stepped forward and said, "You level 50 weaklings are nothing. Listen closely. Get back into that dungeon and never crawl out again. And make sure every monster down there knows this. If any of you show up on the surface, you answer to me." Terrified, the monsters scrambled back, shouting, "We're sorry." As the dungeon sealed shut, she thought. They actually ran back to the hidden dungeon. She loosened her ponytail, letting her long hair fall as she shifted back into wife mode. She said, "Well, that settles everything." Back home, Yuta finally regained consciousness. She rushed to him and hugged him tight. Yuta said, "Thank goodness you're awake." She asked if he was hurt from protecting her, cheeks turning red. He said, "Oh, so I protected you? Good. That's reassuring." Thinking about how he shielded her, she blushed even harder. So this is what it feels like to be protected. Back in the hero's party, she was always shoved to the front like a shield. Yet Yuta saw her as someone delicate, someone precious. She savored the memory, grateful she became his wife. They picked up right where they left off before the dragon interrupted. She thought, he can never know I'm a level 99 martial artist. I have to stay his cute, beloved little wife. I already forced those monsters back. Everything should be peaceful now. Tomorrow will be normal again, she believed. But it wasn't. By morning, the court had declared the remote eastern fishing port the new top adventure hotspot. Merchants, adventurers, and opportunists flooded the place. A full dungeon boom swallowed the town, turning it into a chaotic hunting base for the hidden dungeon. Nirvana, dressed in a rabbit costume, stared at the madness as adventurers bragged about treasure and profit. She thought, what the hell? This calm, quiet Emizu is being invaded by greedy idiots. It's just like when I was in the hero's party. My peaceful life is slipping away. When she returned home, Yuta stood fully geared with armor and a knife. She greeted him, confused. Why was he dressed like that? He looked like a level 1 adventurer. He explained how the town's costs were inflated, bait and harbor fees skyrocketed, and even fishing became impossible. She said, "What, even fishing?" Yuta nodded. "That's why I became an adventurer, to clear the hidden dungeon and restore our town. The town where your parents rest. I promise I'll reclaim our peaceful life." Hearing him, she blushed, flustered, and completely overheated. "He always puts me first. I'm truly grateful I married this man. So happy I became his bride." She steadied her adventurous gaze, thinking, "Then I must steel my resolve." She asked what he meant, but he heard a strange noise behind them. A level 42 orc had appeared. She acted scared, saying how frightening it was. As he turned to look, thinking something was there, she blasted the orc straight through the entire first floor. Yuta saw nothing and said, "There's nothing here," but she hugged him tightly, saying, "Don't scare me like that." She whispered, "It's okay. I'll protect you." "You're amazing, Yuta. This is love." She wanted to stay his cute, cherished wife, while secretly guarding him from the shadows. And so began the raid-filled dungeon life of the mismatched couple. In a world where the Demon Lord had fallen, the hidden dungeons surfaced, packed with treasure and rare gear that drew adventurers deep inside. Among them was a certain pair, the wife with a secret and her level 1 adventurer husband, Yuta. But the truth was different. This level 1 wife was actually a retired level 99 martial artist. 1 week after the dungeon appeared, rumors spread. One man said, "Hey, you hear about the scouts?" Another asked, "What happened?" The first muttered, "Dirt cheap info." But the shady figure nearby listened as he added, "No one has made it past the first floor. The stairs to the lower levels don't exist." Nirvana thought, "I knew it." Even after searching all day with Yuta, I couldn't locate a path downward. This dungeon isn't normal. Saving the town won't be easy. Yuta asked if she was okay and said they could stop if she was hungry. She quickly replied she was fine. He scooped a spoonful of soup and said, "Good, let's give it our best again today." As he fed her, she was overwhelmed, thinking, "Wait, this is the legendary marital ritual." She blushed, saying it tasted great. Yuta smiled, glad she liked it. Their sweet moment was overheard by a shady man who whispered, "Fresh meat. Wrong place for amateurs. New dungeons always attract fools like them." He eyed Nirvana and said she was S-rank rare drop material. These were the Shadow Brothers' eldest, second, and third. The eldest said, "Perfect first catch." They were adventurer hunters, criminals who robbed dungeon explorers and sold the loot. The triple Shadow Brothers were infamous assassins, and even skilled adventurers fell to their ambushes. As the couple mapped the first floor, one brother complained, "These lovebirds are irritating already." They activated Shadow Drive, sinking into the ground. The eldest said, "Stay alert, same routine as always." The bulky third brother said, "Even lions hunt rabbits seriously." The middle one smirked, saying the guy's boring, but the girl looks fun, hope she lasts. The eldest grinned, saying he'd enjoy this hunt. Creeping closer, they thought, "We are creatures of shadow. We were never heroes, but our best technique shines in darkness. Man or monster, all would fall before this blade." Using their assassin technique, Dark Triathlon, the brothers attacked, but Nirvana knocked all three out with a single strike. She moved so fast it looked like she'd created clones. The eldest brother, nearly knocked unconscious, couldn't grasp what happened, his head spinning. Nirvana's death glare warned that if she saw them again, they would die. That alone broke the spirits of the three brothers, two men, and the cat-like one. That day, the infamous triple Shadow Brothers, feared adventurer hunters, retired from crime without a whisper. Utah, unaware, said she looked tired and suggested stopping by the hall ahead for food. She glanced back, thinking, "Adventurer hunters here? Can't believe garbage like that made it inside town. I need to finish quickly so I can return to my lovey-dovey life with Utah." Suddenly, a level 50 wind beast appeared. She acted frightened. It was dangerous, a sudden encounter, a pincer attack. Dungeons didn't behave like the outside world. Sometimes monsters forced combat whether you wanted it or not. She thought, "They closed the distance, and the moment I focused on those hunters. This really is a hidden dungeon. It's strong, but if I get serious, defeating it would be child's play." She remembered Utah's promise to protect her. "I've already received more love than I ever deserved. If he finds out about my real strength, it'll only cause problems." Utah stared at the beast and shouted for her to stay behind him. She blushed, thinking, "He's protecting me again." But as the beast lunged to devour him, she realized she was half a second too distracted, struck by the warmth of his gesture. She prepared to kill it, fist charged, when she sensed someone else. One slash from the holy sword Bahamang cut the beast in half. The Holy Emperor's thunderblade split it cleanly. Nirvana and Utah were stunned. Standing atop the monster's head was a nearly bare-clothed woman who asked if the commoners were unharmed. Utah's heart sped up. Nirvana thought, a warrior? No, an advanced combat class, a holy knight paladin. Utah admired her strength, saying she was incredible, sparking jealousy in Nirvana, who muttered, I'm stronger. The paladin said she was only a trainee, level 51. Nirvana scoffed, but Utah was thrilled, repeating that level 51 was amazing. Even the paladin blushed, saying he was embarrassing her. Nirvana complained under her breath because she herself was level 99. Utah asked the knight's name. She said introductions weren't necessary but offered them anyway. Royal Guard Knight, Vice Commander of the Silver Wing Order, Draco Vermilion. Nirvana thought these were the same cowards who ran during the Demon Lord battle, but Utah thought the Royal Knights were cool and admired her level. Nirvana muttered level 51 again, annoyed. Utah said level 51 was incredible, calling Draco's name. Draco claimed she was still unworthy. Utah said she could probably defeat the Demon Lord and that he wanted to test his own strength against one someday. She answered him, and Utah turned to Nirvana, saying, Isn't that right? Nirvana, flustered and embarrassed, simply said, Yeah, sure, while thinking, well, I am level 99.